Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I have a fun fold or a funky fold to share with you, and it's this one. It's kind of got a double flap and opens like this, and this is where you can write your to you love from me. So I'm going to share how to make the card with you, but rather than create another one exactly like this, I'm going to use some different colors and different papers. So I decided that I would feature the Thoughtful Journeys papers. And these are beautiful. They're like watercolors and sort of smooshy colors on the back. But they are really gorgeous papers. And I chose to use this one here. And I have done a little bit of prep ahead of time, just so you're not watching me just cut paper all the time. So I chose to do this one, and what I did is I cut it in such a way that I spotlighted this lovely corner piece. I think that would make a really good feature on the front of my card here. So as I say, I did that one ahead of time. Now, the other thing that I want to do is to make a feature piece inside. And so I have got the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set with the coordinating dies because I thought that this would go nicely with the grasses on my paper. But this die set has got the most gorgeous die, which I think will make a fantastic feature piece. And look at this. It's just, I have used it in a video before, but it's just so gorgeous. So I was going to use the other piece of this paper to cut out this piece. And it's just at the moment, I'm just trying to decide which side I want to use, whether I should use this one. This has got some of that nice, not quite sure whether that's pumpkin pie or what, but anyway, it's got a nice piece on. So I think I'm going to use that side. So we just clip the rest off. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this sheet adhesive, and it's actually called adhesive sheet, and it's got the tiniest, thinnest layer of adhesive under these two pieces, here. So I am going to just attach that to my card, piece of paper. So I'm just going to take each piece off in turn so that I'm not wrangling with heaps and heaps of adhesive, because this is so light that static can cause it to sort of flop down where you don't want it. Now I'm going to just trim off this extra adhesive so it doesn't get itself caught up in my machine. Unfortunately, this is a pair of scissors that I do not mind getting sticky. They do clean up nicely. I have got a video on how to use Goo Gone to clean up your scissors. I don't know about you, but I have a pair of scissors that I keep for ribbon and a pair that I keep for adhesive, and then everything else is kind of fair game. So I'm going to pop my die on the side without the adhesive, and I'm just going to bring in my cutting machine. So for this one, I've got my number 1 base plate, and I'm going to put in my number 2 die converter or shim. Then I've got 1 clear plate on the bottom, and I'm going to put another clear plate on the top. And because this has got a lot of detail, I'm going to make sure that I crank it through slowly, allowing those rollers to put plenty of pressure on the cutting edge of my die. And if everything works out, I should have a nicely cut piece all ready to go. Let's just clear the decks. So, see, it's all beautifully cut on the back. If I had some uncut pieces, I would put it through again, but because I put it through nice and slowly, it's cut out really well. And I just go ahead and knock some of these pieces out like that. And I just use my tool here to just pull out. And there's just a little piece that's just got caught there. Oh, and another one just there. And so you see what I mean? Isn't that beautiful? It's just a beautiful shape. So that's one of our decorative pieces sorted. Let's get this out of the way. That's the only downside with those fine dies is you get bits. I'm going to put this out of the way. There we go. Right. So the layers, I've pre-cut some layers, as I said, and I've chosen to take this color here. This is Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to pop Mossy Meadow and I'm going to put that like that. So that's going to be my front panel. This is a new color, Basic Beige, and it's a lovely neutral, and it's picked up, I think, just here. So those are my pieces I'm going to do there. And I'm going to make a start in sticking them together because I get fearful that I'll put them down and they get covered up by something. I won't be able to find them all again. So I always put my adhesive on the smaller piece of paper or card, and that way it's not, I know that it's not going to go on an area that's not going to have anything stuck to it. So there's that done. So that's my first piece. Now this piece here I'm going to emboss, and that's going to be my inside piece there. And I've chosen to use the exposed brick. I think that will go really well with the sort of nature type of the paper with all the grasses. So I need to make sure I put it the right way up because it's going to be portrait, so I need to make sure my bricks are going in the right direction. This time I only need my base plus my embossing plate. And again, I like to do it just slow, just to make sure that there's plenty of time for all that lovely detail to transfer to my card. So I'm thinking we might very nearly be done with all our prep stuff. And there, we've got that there. So we've got our front piece, we've got one inside piece, and we've got our decorative piece. Now we're going to make the actual card. So you'll need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 11. If you're working in A4, then it's easy to do this. It's just that you'll be measuring slightly differently. So basically we're going to find the halfway mark part. So in my case it's 4.25, and I'm going to score at 4.25 like that. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to score in the halfway on the long side. So as I say, if you're using A4 paper, then you're just going to basically cut it into quarters. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a panel out. I'm going to cut this panel out here, and I'm going to cut it so that I end up with a square on this side. So this is 4 1/4, so I need this to be 4 1/4. So I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to cut, doesn't really matter which one I take out. So I'm going to lay that on the 4 1/4, and I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use my cutting blade, and I'm going to bring it down to 4 1/4 on my ruler here. So I'm just going to press firmly and bring it down to 4 and, oh no, not 4 1/4. I need to bring it down here so it's at, cut here at 4 1/4. So that's 11. So 4 1/4 is 1, 2, 3, 6 3/4. 6 3/4. Okay. So that should, if everything has worked out correctly, that should leave me 4 1/4 inches there. And then I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to put my side at 4 1/4 there. I'm going to take my cutting blade and I'm going to bring it along to 4 1/4 there. So that should be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I hope that makes sense in that. Looks like my blade needs a little bit of tidying, of sharpening there. Let's just trim that off. Right. So hope that's making sense now. So I scored into quarters, and then I just cut this piece off so that this would be a square. And then all we're going to do is we're going to fold that so that all our lines, all our edges are all lined up. And then this here is going to come down and scored like that, and that's going to go like that. Now sometimes, as I have here, I've got a tiny bit of bow. So what I am going to do, I'm going to take the tiny piece off of here to make everything sit nice and flat. So there we go. Goodness me, my blade is in a terrible state. But I'm going to carry on with my video, and I might just make that into a feature. I might just do that, actually. We'll see. We'll see how ugly it might look at the end. So we've got that, and that folds over like this. Let's just trim that off a little bit. So note to self, make sure your blade is nice and sharp before you start. I'm going to do this. You know, what is it they say? When the world gives you lemons, make lemonade. So there, it's got a bit of a rustic appeal now. There we go. That works for me. Maybe we ought to do a little bit of, so be very careful if you decide to do this with your scissors. Make sure that you don't get your fingers on the blade. These aren't terribly sharp, but I just want to make sure that you don't catch yourself. Okay. So this piece is going to go here. There. And this piece will go there when I get to it. And this piece is going to come in on the inside to take up the space that's filled there. Now, there's going to be about 3 layers of backing paper coming off here. Using this is so much easier than trying to use just adhesive to get the to get enough adhesive to stick down on a piece of paper. Mind you, it's a bit friendly here, it keeps sticking to me. There we go. Right, so let's just make sure that it's going to fit, and just press gently down and see how lovely that looks. Just lovely. So that gives us a feature there. So we're gonna rough this up a little bit. So we might as well start or finish as we started, with a bit of rusticness. And we're going to stick these on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. These are just sticky, double-sided sticky foam pads that just gives us a little bit of extra height. Make sure we put it the right way up. So there's my fold. We just now need to do a little bit of finishing off and with a greeting. So I have a piece of paper here. I've got a scrap. I wonder, not big enough. Not big enough. So we're going to have to have another thought on that one. So my stamp set is, I did have it, and I've gone and, it's like I said, you know, you put things down and then you can't find them. There they are. So I'm going to use this one, I think, because this looks very much like I've got here. So we can, and of course we have a dotty stamp. So let's see what we can do with our dotty stamp. And there. So I'm going to stick with the same colour. I've got the Mossy Meadow ink, and we're going to pop that up there, and that's going to be inside. Of course, we have to have an envelope. We can't not have an envelope without a bit of ink on it, like that. And I'm thinking, you know, that dotty stamp that I can use to put a little bit of dottiness on there, just to give a bit of extra texture. Let's pop some up there. Lovely. So we get that one stuck in. Like that. And the only thing I need to do now is a greeting. So we're going to use the greeting from the stamp set. So we've got, you make life better, I appreciate you, thinking of you fun. You make life better. A nice inspirational greeting. That is going to be perfect for what I want. Now, I've got this other set of dies. It's called Unbound Love, and these have got loads of lovely labels in, and I'm thinking maybe one of these would do for, I think that would cut out nicely, wouldn't it? Okay, we might just take a moment to do that in a minute. So we'll get some white cardstock and our green. You make life better. Voila. And I'm sure I'm going to have some space. Let's see. Yep, so let's put some dots there and there for now. And then we're going to cut this out. So we need our base plate, a die adapter, and a clear plate. I'm going to use some of this sticky tape. It's like sticky notes, only it's got sticky on it. All over. So it really makes a perfect, perfect for holding dies in place. It doesn't scuff the paper when you come to take it off like the painter's tape or washi tape does. Get this lined up. It goes through in the machine better if you line it up. There we go. So this is the first time I've used this one, so it looks like it cuts out, and it also cuts out a separate frame, but I'm not going to use the frame. I'm going to just use what I have. I'm going to find a place for it to go. I think there. Just need to put a couple of these on. It's not like there's a huge amount of weight that it's going to be holding. I think it kind of looks best there. And then we've got a few of these embellishments. I think I'm going to go for these. I keep going for these textured dots. They're really lovely. So let's just put, we've got a nice big one there. So we're going to put a big one. Oh, escaped me. Big one there. And they say things should be in odd numbers. So let's do 2 little ones and put another one over there. And I think we are good to go. So there is my fun fold. I think I'm going to just call it a double flap card. So it opens like this. You've got a lovely design on this inside. You've got a nice embossed piece there. And then you've got your place for writing your to you love from me. So there is a different version. So we've got this one and that one. Now the dimensions for all of these will be on my blog. So if you follow the link below this video, it will take you to that exact posting, and then all the dimensions for the layers that I've used today will be there. So if you've enjoyed my video, perhaps you'll go ahead, give me a thumbs up. I certainly appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye for now.